Well, Stranded Alien Dawn is a relatively new game. I mean, honestly, it only was dropped even in early access about a year ago, and it recently came out in full release about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and now it has even more new content. This game is insane with the amount of new stuff it's getting all the time, and I'm happy to report on even more new stuff as of today. Well, hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and yeah, if you're a big fan of games like Rimworld and or any sort of base building survival crafting game, then this is definitely the game for you. And now there's a new jungle biome, and that's awesome because there's all sorts of new things to do in the game since its release, and now proves that the devs are going to be adding more and more and more stuff to it. If you're a big fan of like dinosaurs and new planets and like, I don't know, time travel, this kind of feels like all of it mashed together, and it's a banger. So welcome aboard. Good to see you all here. Thank you very much for leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. And glory to Raptoria down below in the comment section as I show you something new for this relatively new game. I mean, it feels like it just dropped even in early access recently, but this is a full 1.0 release, but now updated as of today. So in this game, we have a few scenarios that we can do. If you haven't heard of them before, essentially there's your standard, like, well, what you see in games like, for example, Rimworld, or even that one called Starbound, I think it is. But anyway, that one plays like Terraria. But anyway, yeah, so crash landing, your crew crash lands and has to survive in order to, like, build a beacon to get out or off the planet. There's the trading outpost where you're there to stay permanently, where you're doing things like building a farm and trying to hire people to then essentially buy the planet from like the local, I don't know, galactic government. And then there's the military outpost, which is probably the coolest of all, where you're building tons of defenses and kind of have to do a little mix of the first two. It's like you're trying to survive and eventually you're going to leave, but you're building like a forward operating base for military units that will eventually come to that planet. So, you know, you're trying to build a farm, you're trying to build like a barracks for everybody to stay in, but essentially the people will eventually leave, and your mission is to build like a relay in order to establish comms. But anyway, regardless of all of those, I think we'll go with military outpost for today because it does let you pilot and build a frickin' mech, which is amazing. But now there's the new region, Saltu, which is essentially, I don't know, think of Avatar, a tropical region covered with dense jungles, swamps, rivers, and hot beaches. Now, what's interesting with this biome is just like the other two, like the desert and Cerberus, which is kind of more like, think of like the American Pacific Northwest, lots of pine trees and mountains and such, or Vancouver and areas of Canadian wilderness and or national parks. The desert and the kind of the, I guess we'll just call it the alpine region, and also the jungle region, all have different plants, flora, and fauna, and different threats, although somewhat similar too, that are shared across all the planets. So what's really cool is that each map is entirely different, yet also very much the same, where you might have the same threats. But for example, wood is going to be a lot harder to get in the desert, obviously, but you can farm it, and wood is going to be a lot easier to get in the alpine areas, but of course it's going to be a little bit more colder, right? There's a more rough winter, but Saltu offers something a lot different, and we'll go over that in just a little bit as it has some more new unique challenges. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and start on a we're going to do an easy map too, by the way, so we can get as far into this as possible just to demonstrate what's going on here today. And we're going to pick our survivors too. Now, yours truly, me, I'm in this game as well. Raptor Dino, that's me, a man from the city. And to be honest, I'm a little OP. Before the launch of the game, the devs are like, hey, we want to put you in the game, let's go ahead and get you in there. Now, I'm just kind of like a, I don't know, like a workshop file or whatnot, so you don't necessarily have to play with any of these characters if you want to. At this point, so many people have created different characters with different stats that you can, you can't really necessarily pick your own character from scratch, but you can download tools in order to make your own, and all these people have different types of skills. For example, building, hunting, maybe they're better at military. My favorite here, Ken, who is pretty much insane but likes to basically go hunting and I think see stuff and die in front of him. Yeah, the bloodlust perk. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and clear out most of these people, and we're going to go ahead and, how do we remove somebody? Let's see. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start fresh. I'm going to bring in Grayson. I'm going to bring in myself. Oh, actually, I want Kent in there. Now, each of these survivors kind of has a different background, too, and or relationship with each other. Some of them are, I don't know, mother, daughter, or granddaughter, or son and father, that kind of thing. So we'll get Lara in there as well. Let's go ahead and go with Sora. There's a newer character in here, too. I forget who was coming in at 1.0 release, but we'll just kind of try to grab a little bit of everybody and see what we can do. Actually, I think this guy is a little newer. I think he's really good at farming, yeah. And so this is going to be more of a military operation, so we better go actually with more military people, but nah, that's okay. Ken and I think Laura is very good at medical, I think. No, she's very good at farming. Let's get a medical person in here. There we go. Katina. Perfect. All right, that's going to be a good enough group. Now, people will join us later on. I think we can get more recruits, so and/or people who've crashed nearby. I think something like that. There's expeditions in the game, but we'll see. Here we go. All right, we're coming in hot now, boys. It's like the Avatar DLC. In fact, I wonder if somebody could mod this to actually essentially bring all the creatures and the what is it, the Na'vi, the people from Avatar as well. Maybe that you could possibly fight against. I don't know. Possible. All right, we're in the pipe, 5x5. And down we go. Cool. Ooh, a beautiful night and a beautiful moon. There goes our dropship. Goodbye. Nice. All right, leaving us with a few supplies to get started. We've got ourselves probably some rations, armor, weapons, a couple other things to survive with. And immediately, some new stuff I don't think I've seen before. Now, everything in this game we could inspect. We could, of course, build like a base within a base. We can essentially build like a main building. I kind of think of it as like building a summer camp in this game. Like you're building kind of your main canteen and administration building with storage, and then everybody else gets their own barracks or whatnot. And it's good for bonuses for when people are sleeping together if they're romantically inclined with each other, or sleeping alone if they kind of like a little bit of their own living space, essentially. Anything else that's new? These creatures are a little old. Those little plants here, though, are new. This could be anything from food to could be like a fuel. Who knows? But it looks absolutely gorgeous. Let's take a look a little bit more around the jungle. And yeah, this is probably my favorite map so far. This is thick and lush. And there's a lot of wrecks, too, that we can claim for scrap and smelt that down, too. Oh, yeah. I can't look at this map and not think Avatar. Absolutely. That is perfect. Look at this, man. Gorgeous. All right, we can build electric grids. I love this game, too, by the way. I think it's genius that the developers did this, where you can start a tutorial in the middle of the game and then go right back to where you left off. So if you encounter a new game mechanic and you haven't yet done it before in the main tutorial, you don't necessarily have to go back to the main menu and learn it separately. You can just learn it when you encounter it here and then jump right back into your game and apply those skills that you just learned into your game that you're playing at the time. So absolutely gorgeous. Lots of good open spots to build our base. But of course, we're going to want to start with wood, so we'll go back up to our group. And yeah, what is this? Some sort of a weird, I don't know, limestone. Could be, I don't know, organic. Who knows? Gorgeous indeed. All right, well, we got our people up here on the hill, and eventually we'll be attacked. There will be creatures and, I don't know, possibly other threats that could attack us. So we essentially just want to act as if this world is hostile. And, oh, this is new, too. These are like big old buffalo or something. They kind of look like part rhino, part buffalo. A bulky animal. So, yeah, definitely new animals, and definitely new flora as well. Let's go ahead and study giant grass. So a lot of this could be edible. A lot of this could be a building material. It could almost be super thick and steel-like, or like spider web-like, so it could be a very good armor. These are some like pumpkin type things here. So yeah, we've definitely got plenty to learn from already. All right, let's get cracking then. So this game does allow us to do all sorts of things for farming and animal keeping. We can do animal husbandry. We can produce weapons. We can make defensive turrets. We can make traps and minefields. I mean, you name it, you can almost do it in this game. It's very impressive. All right, well, since we got limited time before we get attacked, we're going to go ahead and start by possibly building a base right here in the middle. This is actually a really good spot. I mean, it's nice flat land, so, and it's probably farmable land too, so we don't have to cut down too many trees, but we will certainly do that. So let's go ahead and immediately start by building a house if we can. Typically, you wouldn't do this. You just build the basic shelters, but we might need to... oh, looks like we can do things out of scrap metal. And it's already going to start... Oh, boy. I think it's already, like, starting to... Oh, it's the wet season. Yeah, it's going to start to rain. We're going to face that for a while. It's a wet season, then maybe a dry season, then ultra hot. So our people are going to want to do a lot of air conditioning. They're going to want lower temperatures. Right now, it's already 33 degrees outdoors, which is probably cooler than what it'll be because of the rain. So we're going to quickly build some things to get our people situated for the night. Or for the next couple of days. And let's go ahead and go on slow while we build some things here. Okay, so we're going to need materials to build all these shelters. They're going to sleep outside, but eventually we can move this stuff. It sucks, but, you know, we can't do anything until we get some trees cut down. So let's observe these trees to see what they are first. Nice big old rock over here, too. Looks like it's stone, but, of course, we can mine out ore and then eventually smelt that down. What did we figure out this was? A dandelion tree, really? Dandelion spores, 25, but also produces wood. A peculiar tree which forms spherical clusters of spores instead of leaves. Interesting. So it's essentially just a tree that we can regrow, and it could be a pretty plentiful source of wood. All right, let's go ahead and cut down some grass, too. We'll need thatch for some of our housing and or beds at the start. Not a great situation, I'll be honest, but another great thing, too, is we can draft people and take direct control of them, or we can just give them orders to put on certain clothing. So I think for each of our survivors, if we go into their inventory, we could ask them to either take off clothing and put on something new, or equip like a weapon and a sidearm, that kind of thing. So let's see, equip carbon helm. We're going to go ahead and give every one of our troopers here the order to... Now, of course, these are all in the military, right? This is a military operation, so we're going to do it this way. But nothing says you can't earn money from farming and such. There might be a way to trade and eventually sell things to passing military ships. I think probably the best play mode of this game is probably the farming one, where you're going to be staying for a very long time, hiring people and trying to buy the planet. That is where you're going to be here for the longest. You're not obviously trying to leave, so you're trying to build a permanent base, permanent defenses, and like a permanent HQ for buying the planet. Military HQ, kind of an outpost, you know, could be abandoned or like just destroyed at any moment. Like the military might want it and fortify it. They might not. It could just be an outpost to bring in more people and eventually build more bases. Like, take it or leave it. But the survival base, too, is one that you're definitely going to want to leave. So it's really cool how many different types of, I guess, ways you can play this game at any given time. I like it. I like it a lot. And I think a lot of you have liked it as well. So let me know down below in the comment section if you own this one, or if you've been playing this one a lot, or if you're thinking about getting it. Again, Steam sale is coming up very soon in the end of June and early July, so this may possibly be in the Steam sale, and if not, it's certainly a good one to add to your wish list and get in the future. I know the biggest drawback for a lot of people is they want to make their own characters, and these characters look really good. I mean, damn, that's me, dude. I sent them a photo of me, and they kind of made me look a little slightly different, and it's really close. It really is close. It looks like a cousin of mine or something like that, but I think they did a very good job in these characters, and everything's nicely handcrafted, too, in terms of the portraits. So a job well done to them, and I hope they continuously add more biomes. I would love to see maybe a permanent winter one and different areas where it would be much more difficult to survive, but then also more things to do, more scenarios in the future. So, yeah, similar to like what, for example, happened in Anno 1800, where eventually they started to lay out scenarios where there was already like a pre-existing town or base. I would love to see that in this game, where you get some sort of a pre-existing base and have to modify it or do something to fortify it. I think that'd be absolutely outstanding. All right, we're starting to get hay. We're starting to get some wood. We can, of course, make some stockpiles on the ground. Now, typically what I do is I build a base outside of my main base. Like, I'll build a small little camp here and then start fortifying this middle area. But honestly, this land is surprisingly rather decent. So I'm going to go ahead and start making like a 6x1 and a 6x1 layout for some of the things inside of our camp. Now, again, whenever we're doing something where we're going to stay permanently, I try to build it more organized and do a lot more care. If I'm doing it for a survivor type scenario, I do it really rushed because, of course, they're survivors, and the faster you get things done, the faster you can move on to the next thing and or find more people via expeditions. But the military version is a little bit of a hybrid because, of course, you're trying to keep everything organized because that's kind of what the military does. Large storage rooms and, you know, large barracks where multiple people are sleeping together, which is a kind of a negative thing in this game. But, of course, you can start with one big building and have everyone sleep in it for a few days, while then you move on and build smaller barracks or smaller cabins for them, which is fine. Like, you know, spending a few days outside sucks, but then you get at least a decent house and, you know, all right, you're in the military, you're used to being bunked with everybody else, but then you get these lavish quarters because then it gives your crew bonuses for having like a building that's a 6x6 or whatnot. And they get, I think it's called like a sprawling room or a sprawling bedroom or something along those lines, and it gives them great bonuses. So it's a good way to continuously enjoy that. Now, I don't think this is the only thing that they've added new to the game. Of course, these scenarios also have like 3D printers and whatnot. We went over some of these. This scenario is not new, but the map certainly is. And I hope they continue to add new stuff, and I hope I get some more surprises. Obviously, now we have more food crops to grow. And with the new fruits and vegetables and foods and animals that we can also raise and do through animal husbandry and have them breed and increase their numbers, there's a heck of a lot more now that we can actually do. Like, we have to learn all sorts of new crops and see what they are. So it's a fascinating thing to be able to discover these for the first time and be like, oh, that's what the dandelions do. Cool, you know. So that's really neat. All right, everyone right now is doing something in order to benefit the camp. So they're transporting supplies to the storage areas. They're constructing stockpiles. Let's speed up time a little bit here. 27 degrees Celsius outdoors, a little warmer, so, you know, sleeping outside, not great, but not terrible. Not great, not terrible, comrade. All right, let's go ahead and build a somewhat decent structure here. I'm going to try to build it somewhere on a hill. This is a pretty good spot. And we can also build up a little bit. I think there's an option to do that. Let's see, X and... yeah, okay, so it's X and Z in order to increase the elevation of the foundation. So we'll build something like this. I think we'll try to do maybe a 10 by 10, which we don't have the materials for. That looks absolutely huge, but honestly, after we put in like a little kitchen, storage room, and like a commons area to sit down and eat, that is going to be a very confined space. So eventually, we can add a little storeroom onto this. We can add like a little back room for some small crafting, and then we can add power sources and other things like that. So first and foremost, we're going to get that foundation built and then move all these houses inside. So it's not a surprise that you have to sleep outside for a couple of days. But again, these are military folk. They know how to deal with themselves outside. But one thing I'd like to see in this game, especially from the devs, for military scenarios, that you wouldn't drop a group of soldiers with all this equipment like Kevlar and laser rifles and all this other stuff and not give them some sort of a pop-up tent. I wish the military units would get some sort of a, you know, even very basic just canvas or some sort of synthetic material where they could quickly pop up a tent and just kind of stay in it with some maybe different types of rations or whatnot. Not really a criticism, it'd just be more like a, hey man, like, you guys should definitely add more to this game because it's good, you know. It's not that there's things missing from it. It's just like, okay, this is good, now do this. It's almost like getting excited for the new city skylines, right? We see all the new road systems and how it works, and we always want more, but, you know, it's always leaps and bounds ahead of where it was. And I feel that about this scenario versus the other ones, too. Getting things like 3D printers that can give us food almost instantaneously. It's almost a little easier on the food, but of course, that's because you're focusing more on the defense part. But you still need things in order to make food. You can't just necessarily, you know, just say, hey, print me a sandwich, and that's going to work. You have to put in power, and that means you have to defend that power source and also find the resources to build those power sources, such as solar. Well, there's yours truly, going ahead and, oh yeah, looking all thick with that armor, too. So everything that's blue is a blueprint. Everything that's purple has materials delivered to it, but is not yet being constructed, and then eventually construction will begin. Now, a cool thing about this game that I really have enjoyed from the beginning is doing all sorts of activities and scheduling. You can go into the advanced priorities screen and give everybody a higher priority for certain things that might be a little bit more important for the camp. So like right now I'm going to make me the #1 constructor because obviously we need to build this house right away, and apparently I'm very good at that skill too. If we take a look at some of my skills, you can see it that way, that I'm one of the higher on building. I think farming. Yeah, I just basically gave myself some survival skills that I thought were relatively middle of the road, like 4s and 5s, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Some of the best characters only have 2s and 3s. Okay, I accidentally made myself OP, but oh well, it's all right. It's, you know, optional. Plus, you can always modify those things in the settings if you know how to go in and edit a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut down a bunch of trees now. We need all this wood so we can build our camp. We're pretty much out of wood. And we've got lots of hay, as they call it. Perfect. Now, I think I've seen some players make some really gorgeous bases in this game that also have shelter for cows and whatnot, so they can make a little farm field, and then they make a little barn, and then all the cows and whatnot can go in there. And, of course, Ranching means that you can get meat from them. I believe there's some creatures where you might be able to milk them, or they lay eggs and you can get things that way. I'm pretty sure. If not, that should be a thing, because it feels like it should be very basic. But now it's not too long until we get attacked either. And anytime that something pops up, like we can read a little detail about it. Love how the devs put in a screenshot of what the item is and what exactly it can be used for. So this is good for simple construction. So giant's grass, probably, as it is huge, tall grass, can give us a bonus for, obviously, hay, which could be something the animals could eat. Now, obviously, in real life, there's a difference between straw and hay, but more and more I just see developers just saying, hey, straw and hay are the same. You know, they can eat it, or it can be a building material. And that's fine, because, you know, they're just trying to simplify building materials and also like a food. I believe Dawn of Man does that caveman city builder from a little while ago, which is big on the channel too. You should definitely check that one out. But essentially they take straw and hay and combine them into one thing that can be used as a housing, building material, and for repair, and also for animals. Alright, we got to scavenge now, so we're going to go ahead and start doing that. Essentially we're going to send Ken out. I believe he's our best at scavenging for any sort of crash site, and he can get scrap from there. Crash sites also have food, possibly weapons, clothing, maybe other scarce spare parts, like things that you might not find too often. So we're going to go ahead and try to look at those and find out what else we can get from those crash sites. And it's really close by, so it's not too far to go over and grab things. Alright, good. We got people transporting things to the construction site. We got Grace in there dropping things off. We got me building, doing some big old building there. Now, another great thing about this game is we can build things part by part, like I chose to do just moments ago by laying down the floor. But you can also build entire rooms without having to do it piece by piece. And then the game is intelligent enough to start with the foundation walls and then eventually put on the roof. And that's another great way to build it. If you do room, you can just do wood room, and boom, you see right there that it'll also include the roof. And you can also rotate that with T and E, and we can make the roof a little taller. Another thing I like to do is, if I can, I try to build buildings into the side of a not like a rocky mountain, but like a steeper incline, to which this doesn't really have too much in this area. But you can, of course, make tiered structures where you have kind of like a lower entryway, and then have stairs going up to a higher area, and multiple buildings that are connected. Almost like if you've ever played, for example, the Nathan Drake series for Uncharted, and some of those Tibetan ruins and whatnot, areas of Tibet. It's kind of what I picture, where it's like you fortified the bottom and then it's several tiers going up higher and higher. All right, let's go ahead and add an extendo onto this. We're going to build a big O cabin here. And again, it's just like building a, you know, like a summer camp cabin. And then, of course, we can segregate different areas of the rooms. We can, of course, create thresholds. Open floor plans are cool, but in this game, it'll really benefit you to do smaller rooms. In this map, it might be better to just leave it open and then ventilate it, because it's going to be a lot warmer. But in some of the colder climates, it's much better to build almost like a hotel, where if you're going to put everyone together, building smaller rooms and then putting down furnaces or heaters is a lot easier to heat those rooms. But again, we're dealing with 30 degrees outdoors, and if we click indoors, it's, well, it'll show you when the walls are built, but it'll drop down a little bit because there is shade. But ventilation is a really cool part of this game. It blows me away, like how it did with Valheim. When Valheim, everybody built a fire and was like, whoa, I'm taking damage. What the hell? Yeah, you had to ventilate your smoke from your fire. And this kind of has the same thing going on, too, where air vents can share heat between rooms, or you want to ventilate to get rid of certain heat from one room to another, either to get it out of that room, like a kitchen venting to the outside, or like a fireplace from somebody's room venting over to another room. So obviously the rooms that's the hottest or the most heated will kind of go ventilate into the other room. So lots of cool things here, including lighting. At a certain point, this game almost becomes more like The Sims, like The Sims 3, in kind of its appearance and how you lay things out, because of course you're building just a copious amount of rooms and smaller structures and storage areas and shelving, and it's really cool to do. Alright, looks like Ken has scavenged 34 metal, but we're insufficient on 268 different types of wood, so yeah, we're going to keep on cutting down trees. We'll keep giving the order for that, so whoever is free can go ahead and cut down some trees. Now, it's not unheard of to almost clear out an entire forest before you're finished with your house, and then, of course, you want to build an outer palisade to that, which essentially is like an outer wall. We'll have our main structure here, maybe a few structures around it, and then an outer perimeter wall. And there are ways where you can kind of trick the AI in this game. You can build like a kind of a maze and then put mines in there or defense turrets. And the AI is kind of programmed to take the path of least resistance, and it's easier for them to go through a maze than it is for them to break through a wall. So they'll go through the maze despite you booby-trapping it and putting down landmines and guard towers and other things like that. And of course, floodlights. And I think another cool thing about this game is when it becomes nighttime, if you get attacked at nighttime, your people aren't able to see as well. So there's a bigger chance for your snipers and other gunners to miss during combat, even if they're doing melee combat. And so that's a really cool factor that they threw that in as well. This game always fascinates me, being a little bit like Prison Architect meets, for example, Rimworld. Again, I keep going back to it, but you know, when you see people here saying that they ate without a chair or ate standing up, it's like, yeah, okay, all right, I see what you're trying to do here. Wow, look at all that stuff. We're gonna have to build another storage stockpile. Let's go ahead and do that. Eventually we'll move all this stuff into a room and or a building or individual cabins, and we can also build shelving too, which is another great thing in this game. Being able to organize clothing separately and fabric separately, and then building materials separately. I always like to build like stone storage, wood storage, hay storage all separately, and then try to put the food and whatnot inside. Eventually we can also deal with I can't believe it, dude. This game has refrigeration. I don't think it shows it at the moment, but it is something that we can eventually unlock. And it might not be as important right now because we have a 3D printer and a food fabricator, so it'll just basically make like a fresh meal for somebody. But, you know, if you go out on a hunting run and gather a bunch of meat, you can have it butchered and then stored inside of a freezer or a refrigerator. I mean, this game's cool, man. I think there's peaceful modes for this game too, and that's fascinating as well, because then you can build like a really cool, beautiful, believable survival cabin. And that's something I've tried to do a couple of times in The Sims, where I try to build like a, you know, off-the-grid house, and that's kind of what this can be, because eventually, you know, you have to deal with power and whatnot. The only thing you don't have to deal with is human waste and or garbage, which I'd be interested in seeing a little bit as to how the hell they would handle that in this game, if they would go the whole laser route where everything just kind of gets vaporized, or if it would actually be used in fertilization of crops or some sort of a, maybe a health concern, you know, things like dysentery and whatnot. Be interesting to see. I don't know. And of course, there's a million mods for this game too. The modding community is very healthy, making all sorts of different weapons and outfits that are like Starship Troopers, and I can imagine a whole ton of things coming in. But it would be great to see that dropship being almost like a, I don't know, a drop on Klindathu, or something from Aliens, for example. Oop, another storm coming in. And it looks like Grayson needs some sleep. Yep. Now, don't you worry. We almost got the cabin done here. Now, once the walls are done, they're going to put on the roof, and then we'll probably put in some windows, and we'll just let everybody sleep inside on the floor. Again, it sucks. It's not ideal, but within the first few days. Like, look, we're already on day 3, and our people have already built a pretty damn good-looking house. In fact, we can see it from here that they've already put on. I don't know how I was able to build the roof without building walls, but that's part of my brilliance, okay? It's just how, you know, when you're this good, that's just how it goes. Ooh, the rain. It's really loud, that thunder. I love it. Heading into the wet season. Like right into the midst of it. Wow, 32 degrees Celsius. No, thank you. For my fellow Americans, 32 is pretty much crossing into, well, it's more about the humidity, honestly, when it comes to temp, and it's probably pretty wild with the rain. But we're probably cracking somewhere near, it would feel somewhere between like 95 and 105 degrees Celsius, depending on that humidity. I mean, sorry, not Celsius, but Fahrenheit. But it may as well be for those of you who live in the more colder climates, such as myself. All right, constructing walls almost done. Let's speed things up a little further. Let's go look around the jungle again. Now, of course, in this game, there's going to be creatures that attack us that are much more violent and aggressive than other creatures. This looks new, too. Big leaf plant. This could be something that we could also smoke as well. There's things that will relieve stress, and or some plants that can be used to be like a leather almost. Like they can be made into an armor, or could be boiled to also be like a hearty food. I'm not seeing any of the major enemies yet, though. There are some pretty scary creatures out there that look like scorpions, or like some of the arachnids from Starship Troopers. Oh, these look... Oh, are these... Oh, they've changed them. These might be hostile. These almost look like part ant, part praying mantis. Oh, this is new here, I think. Yeah. Okay. They made these creatures look a little different. What the hell are these? Are these like queens? Oh, we need to study all this. Look at this. It's like they're laying eggs, but they're like these carcasses of a queen. Are they like using their like maybe shedded skin or what? However they call. You know when they get rid of a shell to get a bigger one. I forget what they call. They call that molting or something. Anyway, that's what these creatures are. That is great looking ground too. Look at how muddy that looks. That's really cool. They did a good job with that. But these are a whole new enemy type then. I could imagine these being the ones that will spread across the map, being hostile. They kind of made them look like scorpion crabs before in a way. But those seem to be ants and praying mantises. And I like that they've combined a few Earth-like things together. That's cool. We also need to figure out what these big boys are. A Noth. What is that damn thing? Oh, we can also make a statue out of it too. Judging on its size, it's probably a good source of meat. I feel bad for it. But it's survival of the fittest in this world. Aw. So they're like buffalo, pig, rhinos, I guess. But yeah, you can eat bug meat. You can eat hunted meat from birds. You can eat other types of flying insects. Some of them all weird. Well, weirder than the other. They're all weird. Let's be honest. Okay, let's go ahead and make some windows here. Let's go ahead and build some... I guess we'll just start by building regular wooden windows. This, again, is just going to be for ventilation. Let's try to build a couple here. And we'll do the same on the back side. There we go. We'll try to build something like that. Again, this is for ventilation. I'm going to try to match those windows too. And now we can go back into the house. So now we can put all of our beds inside. So sorry about the 3 or 4 days sleeping outside, everybody. No more rain on the noggin. We're going to try to put everybody inside now. Alright, so that's better. So again, it's not going to be cozy or comfortable, but we're getting started. Speed time up a little bit. Another thing I believe is that things that are stored outside could become... They could spoil faster, I believe, so you need to keep meat and other things dry, otherwise it will decay. Like, for example, wood has to be stored at least under a roof. You don't have to put it inside, but if you're trying to make firewood and or just regular wood, it will go bad if you don't actually put a shelter over it. So, almost like a picnic pavilion in like American parks and a few other places, like a gazebo. But just more square. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get everybody at a large table and some seating now. Let's go ahead and try to put something over here. We got 6 people, but 4 could eat at a time. And we might eventually get more military personnel here at the base. Kind of hard to remember that we're building a military base, huh? Every time I build this, I think, oh, summer camp, how fun. And then the first attack begins, and I'm like, oh, great, someone's wounded. And that's how it goes every single time. Alright, so they want us to start researching. One of the things I like to do in this game, again, is just quickly build stuff, then reorganize it later. Because at least you can get ahead a little bit on research or something before you have to move it, before people really start to complain. And it's kind of like in City Skylines and a few other games where, yeah, you might have a higher tax rate for a little while, but people are pretty cool with it for a little bit. And then you gotta, like, really think about things. Oh, hey, there I go. Oh, having a bad day. I'm upset. Somebody didn't subscribe. Oh well. But I had time to wave at Ken. That's cool. I guess I'm friendly. Maybe. Alright, 3 more beds to build. Oh yeah, this is great. Everything's purple, so it just needs to be constructed. So me and Grayson are knocking it out of the park with the whole construction. Now, I think we're going to get debuffs of Cave Dweller and a few other things, but eventually outside this building, I think we'll build like, if we have 6 people, we'll build like 3 here and 3 here of smaller rooms, maybe like a 6x6. So 1, 2, 3, 6x6, 1, 2, 3, 6x6, and then maybe a workshop back here. Maybe we'll put a door that leads to a workshop back here. Maybe some farming off to the side, and then another building to store more goods. We're definitely going to have to do more storage, and we definitely need to start researching, as they're mentioning. Now, once we research things, we're going to start getting electricity, so we can already start with wind turbine and whatnot. So let's get the... let's build a battery to store power. And we'll build a wind turbine next to that. That should charge that directly. So this could provide electricity to the house, and that could give us, for example, lighting. We could start with just some basic lighting, and that'll keep everybody productive during the nighttime. If you have somebody on a nighttime shift, they really can't do anything in the dark. If you have a research desk inside of a... If you have 2 scientists, one working the day and one working the night, and you don't have any sort of light source, such as even a torch inside the research room at night, yeah, they're not going to be able to be so effective. So, and it's also good for exterior lighting too, or if you get attacked. Oh boy, I'm stressed out. Yeah, boy, I'm having a rough day. That's okay though. I'll just sit over here alone. That's fine. Please hug me. Let's go ahead and go with a food fabricator now, and this will draw some of the power. There we go. So we'll build 2 food fabricators, and we should be able to program each of them to do their own thing. So we should be able to have one, for example, make like synth meat, and the other one make like stew. Some people prefer to just eat a raw, simple meal, and other people might want something a little bit more complex, but those will draw a bit of power. So we'll go ahead and add another windmill, or actually maybe we could add some solar panels. Why not? Let's do that next to the house. Maybe like this. There we go. Wow, nice music. I think this is new tunes. Now, obviously, a solar panel, not as good as a windmill at night, for pretty obvious reasons, but solar panels will pump up that battery during the day, and the windmill should run day and night, and so it should stave off a little bit of the power loss. But again, the battery's only going upward, plus 23. That'll fluctuate, of course, based on wind speeds, but that's why we're building more. Okay, we've got somebody to do farming. Let's go ahead and plant, change crop. Nope, we're growing the buttermelon. Yep, perfect. And that's right down here. So, yeah, food not as important at the moment, but again, I want to be completely self-sufficient. Okay, everybody's sleeping. Good. Shh. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and start building some rooms. I think one thing I'd like to see in this game as well is would be like a blueprint mode. I'm not sure if there's something like that, but it would be really nice to be able to quickly make a 6x6 room, decorate it, and then copy it a few times. And then being able to copy that indoors or outdoors, like being able to build like a large building and just copy rooms and or build it as a separate house would be nice. All right, let's go ahead and build a small house here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Raptor, you said there's mechs in this game. Oh, there are. I forget the size that qualifies as a big O house. I think a 6x6 is going to be way too... That's way too much for somebody. Let's go with a 4x4. We'll start with one there. But let's also build our big O battle mech, right? We have automated turrets, flamethrowers. We need to research this at the research station. Oh, we can get searchlights? I don't know if that's new or not. They may have changed some things in the scenario. But we can get frickin' mechs. Oh, they put it lower down in the tier? Oh, those jerks. I gotta research all this other stuff to get light mechs and combat mechs. I think they changed that. I think that used to be like a almost day 2 research. Oh, man. Camp management. Oh. Construction of area flags to... What? Restricted zones for work and habitation. What the hell? Oh, this is... Some of this stuff's new. They changed some of this around. I don't remember a lot of this stuff. EM umbrellas. Respirator masks. What the hell? Night goggles. Whoa. Whoa. Grenades. What the hell? Wow. Alright. This might not be new to this update, but this is new to me since I took a look at the 1.0 military launch. They've been adding tons of stuff to this. What the hell? Arcade machines to keep everybody entertained. Long distance travel, which is not new, but it seems like they've reorganized it to where it might be found during these military scenarios. Mechs are much lower down in the tier now, but I don't remember seeing searchlights before. Typically, I would just recommend using the floodlights, but wow, that's cool. Uh-oh. Brayson is stuck. Uh-oh. You'll be fine. Let's get you out of there. Let's put you right there. Perfect. Alright, so we'll keep building these rooms. And so this is what I would recommend to do for a little while. Is try to build multiple 4x4 rooms. Keep everybody busy for a little bit. And we'll throw some windows in there. Put a nicer bed in there. We got to find some fabric. Get everybody nice and cozy. Sora's idling. Oh, there's still plenty to do. Yeah, let's tell our fabricators to make some food. Let's do a meat option and a grain option. And let's do it forever. And these should take some of our power. We got a plus 19. We'll see how that goes at nighttime. My solar panel's kind of blocked by the buildings here, but maybe not. You can see the shadows where the sun's coming from. Not sure where the sun rises and falls in this planet, but, you know. Seems to be rather comparable to Earth in their time. Not bad. Alright, so we'll do the same on the opposite side. I'm waiting to see when a military attack is going to come in, like where we need to do some drafting and grab some big O guns. Creatures might come in a little later because of the easier setting, but to me that's totally fine. Now, we wouldn't start by fighting those ant-like creatures, I don't think. It would probably be something more like little cockroaches or something. Alright, let's go with that. Now, am I separating these by one? I am, yeah. And it is advisable to try to keep everything as close together as possible, because the smaller we make the base, the tighter the base is, the smaller our palisade has to be, which means less area that we have to defend, and that makes it a lot easier. That means more guns per, like, wall section. In other words, if we have 6 people guarding the walls, and or, you know, people on mechs or whatnot, it's a lot less work to try to patrol the smaller border or a defensive wall. Kind of something you learned if you ever played Stronghold before. You guys remember Stronghold, that medieval castle builder? Man, I really wish they would make another one of those. That game deserves a remake so bad. It's so cool in those games to build defenses, and this game is no different either, where you can build, like, you know, you build your main wall and then you can put maybe towers in the corner, especially those searchlights, other things like that. Just a great, great series. And it's good to see some of those ideas still alive today. Wow, we cut down a lot of trees. We need to cut down even more. Alright, tropical trees are good to go. That's a big O tree right there. I don't think that's fully grown either, but we're going to need that wood. Yeah, cave dweller, disturbed sleep. Yeah, we're working on it. So if you keep everybody together, there's debuffs, but as you play more and more and separate everybody and give them everything that they want and need, they become better fighters, better researchers, better builders by having all their needs met. So it's nice. Very nice. Good music, too. All right. Beautiful. So we need, look at that, 893 wood. So we're going to need to be cutting down a lot of trees. Oh, but hey, not until the morning meal is complete. Wow, look at that reveille. Everybody having their morning meals and going out to work. Hey, there was a scrap much closer to us. Look at that. Man, I couldn't even see it because of all the trees. Damn. Gather some stone too. Honestly, I think you could just stack up a ton of tasks for everybody because everything needs to get done in no particular order. Wood is probably the most important thing if you're building a base, obviously, but then at a certain point, everything takes time to gather. So you may as well just kind of stack a few jobs on top of each other. All right, we got 4 people unarmed. That shouldn't be true. Didn't we give a few people some guns? Oh, are those grenades? Oh, what? Laser pikes have a 78% shelf life because they didn't get picked up right away? All right, let's see if we can go ahead and equip some people with a laser pike. Now, there's also, like, stun shotguns. There's, like, pistols and these laser pikes and a few other things, too. We did see grenades as well. There's a railgun sniper for you. Let's give that to Ken. I don't even know where that is. There we go. And there's even carbon leggings, too. Yeah, we got to get all this stuff inside. And some backup work boots. Of course, we can have a primary and secondary weapon. We can have a melee. And we can have a main weapon, too. Now, some of these weapons we can also... I mentioned it before, but these wrecks, we can also find weapons from those. And they might be like a lower quality, but I'm not entirely sure if there's a way to actually repair weapons. There might be. But I don't know if we can find one and then, like, repair it. I'm not sure. Not sure. Alright, well, let's go ahead and... Actually, can we start building some nicer beds? Nah, we gotta get some better synthetics for that. So we're gonna have to research or find some material that is kind of like leather. And there is a plant that's out there that's similar to leather. But I do like the fact that you can't just build a perfect base, let it be built, and then that's it. You have to do things in phases. And even when this base is done and we add a wall around it, it's still going to take some time to add all the proper defenses for it. And then improve those defenses, and then unlock better defenses, and then just continuously stage up higher and higher. Alright, we're going to need to build a little lightning defense for our base. Lightning strikes can happen and can cause damage. We'll put a couple of those around the base. Alright, let's do a nice storage shelf. We also have boxes that we can put down too. Put a nice big old shelf on the back side of the kitchen. Well, let's put maybe a storage chest in here somewhere. Maybe we'll put it closer to the door. Put 2 of those down. So what's the inside temperature? 26 degrees Celsius. Outside, 29. So a little bit of shelter from that. Not bad. Hard for me to hear the music and not imitate it. I like it so much. Oof. Did you see that? I almost built that lightning rod not in the same grid line. Oh, that would have been a tragedy. Cool. So yeah, we have to refine fuel. There's all sorts of different fuel in the game too. I think there's like a crude oil and then like we can refine it. There's also batteries that we can manufacture. Damn. Hey, look at that. Wow, we're almost done. Okay, so the next order of business is to, well, finish up the houses by adding some nice little windows and giving them ventilation, but also then trying to upgrade the beds so they don't suck. Obviously, sleeping on the floor, not good, but sleeping on the floor inside, not too bad. Well, looks like we have disabled devices from a solar flare. Interesting. They must have added more music to this game, too. It's really great whenever a new update comes out, because for the minor updates where they add maybe new music, a couple new weapons, or kind of revamp how things work in the technology tree for each of the different scenarios, that's a great improvement. And mixing things up isn't bad either. I mean, they can mix it up and it could really suck, and players be like, oh, don't do that, no. And then they change it another way, and then everyone's like, oh my god, this is even better, that kind of thing. So, hey, there we go. That's where we're going to get this twisted plant right here. This is where we're going to get, like, leather. And that's going to give us, wow, what the hell is that thing? Bulbasaur. Yeah, if you attack that bad boy, it'll shoot out like a toxic gas or whatever, so you want to watch out for that. Well, Ken is sleeping all the way out. Ken, what do you do? Goofball. Wait, he's just like sitting down. He's having like a zen moment. Oh, look at that. A bunch of the hay and stuff is rotted away. So yeah, we definitely want to get things inside. Especially those rations. And that's why we're building the storage. And they're already putting stuff in storage. Look at that. Oh, that's cool. Look at all the med packs. Damn, that's cool. I don't know. I just like seeing things all neat and tidy. Alright, so one more cabin to complete. And one more bed to move. And then our main area is complete. And honestly, I could have actually, instead of building a giant shelving unit there, I could have just kind of attached that to a storage room. But we could change that and make that different later. Let's go ahead and make a, well, let's go ahead and come up with a storage solution for this room. I got an idea. Let's check this out. We're going to build something like this. We're going to put a lot of indoor storage here, because we're going to put a lot of producing building up, like benches, building benches in here. Alright, let's do it this way. Yeah, they added new music for sure. Honestly, it was starting to get a little repetitive in this game, the music. But they made it better. What's a blocking object? Don't tell me the light. Oh no, what? Really? Oh, come on now. Sad. That's a little annoying. I mean, the reason that's on the ceiling is so that way it can be away from everything else. I'm not mad, I'm just violently disappointed. Oh well. We don't have to have every nook and cranny have a shelving unit. We'll build there. And there. Ah, yeah, we got to do drying racks and stuff too. Oh, it's so cool laying this out. Seriously, building the start of your base is probably the most exciting thing. So yeah, you could just do this for hours and hours and hours. Just build, refine, define, organize, and of course experiment with all the new things too, both in this update and all the other ones you may have missed. Or if you're a new player, again, no shame in throwing this bad boy on easy and just trying to like have some fun. I think there might even be peaceful settings, but there are ways to make it so it I think there's actually modifiers somewhere where you can make it both Iron Man mode, I think, where people have a much higher chance of dying from injury or anything else like that, or a peaceful mode where there's like no attacks at all, and or animals will only attack if you attack them, that kind of thing. I think there's quite a few different options, I believe. Hey, look at that big old storage room. Now another thing we could do too is we could put workbenches in this room, but I think we'll just put them outside. So that'll be our kitchen, big storage room there. Obviously, we don't want any of our stuff going bad anymore. And the military is going to do a lot of hoarding. We got ourselves a wooden workbench. We'll put that right there outside the building there. And now everybody's got their own... Look at that! Everybody's got their own quarters. Now, of course, we need windows. We've got to keep them ventilated. Let's give everybody a little window in the back. And we'll just keep building, building, building. Look at this. They're only... like 10 days in, they've built a main building. Oh, that building's a little higher. Oh yeah, because the elevation here is a little off, so it must have... looks like that building's starting to sink into the corner, so yeah, that one had to build up a little higher. Yeah, they've done a lot of work for just 9 days. Damn. So now what I want to do is delete all this stuff. So empty all that stuff out of here. Yeah, empty and deconstruct. So that'll give the order to everybody to come on over and just move stuff inside. And there it goes. Everybody bringing all sorts of stuff in. So we can choose where things go. I think we can give orders to, like, store only food items here. Oh, now we got an attack coming in. Perfect. Finally. Let's see what happens. We'll give it a little bit of time, and then we'll draft our soldiers. We got an incoming attack. Ooh, and our people are getting drenched out there, too. Wow, our people have scavenged, what? A helmet, 83 fuel, 53 med. Oh, good. Yep, keep storing that stuff. Nice, so now we're bringing everything inside. Oh boy, here they come. Oh, they've changed the music for the attacks. Hell yeah. Damn, the devs have done a fantastic job with this game. Alright, the showdown. Got a guy standing by with a spear. Can't really do much about attacking anything in the sky. He's ready. The moment anything comes at us on the ground. Ah, here are the enemies we used to see often. Well, they're dead now. Well, maybe not that one. But yeah. Are these guys eating his body? He's like knocked out. Is he gonna attack, sir? I think he's just bleeding out. I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody else go back to work. Alright guys, shift's over. That thing probably bled to death. Yeah, it did. A dead specimen must be procured. There you go. Cave dweller. Yes, indeed. Our first look at the new big update for the rather new Stranded Alien Dawn. The update should be free for everybody sometime later today, so if you like the game, make sure you add it to your wish list. Pick it up. It's pretty damn good. I mean, honestly, if you love Rimworld and other types of games like that, you're going to love this one. And also, yeah, the update should be free for anyone who previously owned it, or what you've seen is going to be a part of the game now, so good deal. I'm going to probably live stream this one too, so if you have more questions about the game or want to drop by and say hi or give me any tips and tricks, or everybody else, go ahead and feel free to join. So thank you very much for subscribing. Turn on the notification bell. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.